Saptam Goswami, Srila Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has composed so many prayers and songs and divine literatures. His writing is not like that of some creative artist or novelist, but rather, just as Srila Vyasadeva, he went into samadhi, into trance. Bhakti yogena manasi samyak panite malay kapasit purusham purna mayam chartar asrayam. And in his trance he saw the Supreme Lord Krishna and his pastimes. He saw Maya also, and how the jivas were lost in the material energy covered by anarthas. And he could understand how they can be delivered from the material energy and transferred into Sri Krishna's eternal pastimes through the medium of Harikatha. And so Srila Vyasadeva manifested the eternal Srimad Bhagavatam manifested through Srila Vyasadeva. So similarly, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has realized everything in his trance. And so every word that he has written is like a Siddha mantra. It is filled with potency. If we will study deeply under the guidance of Sri Gurudev and pure Vaishnavas, the writings of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and sing his songs, then one can become a rishi. You know what a rishi means? Rishi means mantra drasta. One who sees the swarup of a mantra. So one will see the swarup of the kirtans of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This festival is the Vrindavanamrita festival. Hearing, chanting, remembering the nectar of Sri Krishna's Vrindavan Lila. There, all Sakhis, their life and soul is only thinking and acting and serving in such a way that Radha and Krishna will come together, they'll meet. This is to remind us of this. We put on our tilak every day. On one side represents Krishna. The other side line represents Radhika. So they are parallel, they are not meeting. But everything which is in the way of their meeting, you have to remove. All anyaglas, all other desires, all obstacles, go. And then, these two are meeting where? This is Tulsi leaf represents Vrindadevi, Vrindavan. So the tilak is the emblem of the desire. May Radha and Krishna meet in Vrindavan. Sri Krishna Virahi Radhika Radasha Amito Sahite Nahare Jugal Milan Sukir Karam Jivana Charite Pari. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in the Avesh of his spiritual form as Kamal Manjari, she's saying, the condition that Radhika is in of separation, when she cannot meet with Krishna, I cannot tolerate her separation. In order to bring Sisi Yugal Kishore, Shama and Shama together, then I am ready to give up my life hundreds of times. So this meeting of the Radha and Krishna is the life and soul of the maidservants of Radhika. So every day, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives us the opportunity, in the Mart, in the evening Arti, first is Gora Arti, and we worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This Arti is going on the bank of Janani, the Ganges in Navadvip, Mayapur. And then by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at the end, then we sing this kirtan, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the Yugal Arati, Jai Jai Radha Krishna Yugal Milan. Jai ho Radha Krishna Yugal Milan. Jai ho Radha Krishna Yugal Milan. Arati karai lalita risakigan. Arati karai lalita risakigan. Jai, and then Jai. One Jai is not enough. Because the ecstasy of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we should sing. Not Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. That means he's not in the sadhaka vesh. He's not absorbed in being a sadhaka, in being acharya. He's absorbed in siddha vesh as Kamala Manjari. So she is Jai, Jai. How glorious, glorious, glorious. Is this Radha Krishna Jugal Milan, the meeting of Radha and Krishna? Why? Because we were discussing yesterday, what is it that Cupid, the weapons of Cupid by which he increases the intensity of love? So one is the Yatschamito Durlabhata. Durlabhata means inaccessibility. It's very difficult for Radhika and Krishna to meet. And in that time, Yugayatam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravrishaitam Shunyayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindavirahename. Radhika says, oh, one moment is like thousands of years. Tears are just falling from my eyes like rain in the monsoon season, and the whole world seems to be completely empty, vacant, desolate, in separation from Govinda. This is one of the meanings of Parakya. Parakya means that there is a relationship between Krishna and a gopi who is, according to the Leela, married to someone else. So she is para, she is not swa. Swa means own, para means belonging to another. But there's another meaning of the word parakya. Srila Gurudev described, which is very sweet. That is that Bhagavan, in his Aishwarya feature, is Atmaram. So he has the quality of Atmaramata, the quality of being self-satisfied. He takes Ram, pleasure in himself. So God is Atmaram. He has Atmaramata, the quality of being self-satisfied. That is God's feature of Aishwarya. On the other end of the scale, there is the complete Madhurya, and it's a scale. There are pastimes with different prakash, everything in between. But the extreme other end of the scale is the quality of Pararamata. Pararamata means that Krishna cannot find any happiness at all. Not even one atom, not one drop of happiness by himself, without Radhika. So Pararamata means that he is the opposite of self-satisfied. He's entirely dependent for his happiness on the other person. So, those see Krishna has many forms, there are many prakashas, many dhams where his leela is going on. The highest dham, that is Braja, the subject of our festival. Braja dham, where there is Parakya, where there is Naravat, complete human-like pastimes, complete madhurya, complete sweetness. In that dham, see Krishna is the pinnacle of not the Atmaramata Tattva, but the pinnacle of the Pararamata Tattva. On the other hand, Radhika also, she cannot experience any happiness at all without Sri Krishna. So she is also one, the Pararamata Tattva, but the Ashray. The Pararamata Ashray Tattva. And Krishna is the Pararamata Vishaya Tattva. So, when these two personalities who cannot experience the slightest joy without each other, when they meet, then there's an explosion of joy. And so, the rasa coming from the loving relationship between the two Pararamata Tattvas is called Paragya. So their meeting is most wonderful. Na bina vipralambena sambhova pushtim ashnute. But he said that without separation, then meeting cannot be nourished to its highest point. So Jai Jai Radha Krishna Juga Milan is all Jai Jai. Oh glories, Radha Krishna have met. That means just now they have met. But before that they were not meeting. So here is the explosion of joy after separation because of durlabhata, the inaccessibility, the difficulty to meet. Srimati Radhika herself has said, Lokadvayat sojanata parata sotoba prana priyad apisumeri samayadisyuhu kleshas tadapyati bali sansa vijitya premaya vatan harirvani vapushtimeti. Radhika said that in my loving relationship with Krishna, there can be many obstacles. And these obstacles are different types. Lokadvayat. There may be some obstacle caused by something in this world or something beyond this world. The devatas can make obstacles. The devatas she may want to go to the forest to meet with Krishna, but there's a very heavy storm. Lokadvayat sojanata. Obstacles may be made by one's own associates. Parata. Obstacles may be made by the anti-party, other persons outside of one's group of Sakhis. Swatoba. One's obstacles may be made by oneself even. Prana priyat. The obstacles may be made by the object of you're trying to love this person, but this person himself is making the obstacle. And these obstacles may be Sumera Samayadisyuhu. The obstacles may be insurmountable, like Mount Sumeru, huge mountain in the middle of the universe. How can we go around this? Yet, Kleshas Tadapyati Bali Sahasa Vijitya. Just as a lion is very brave and very courageous, but when a lion has to come face to face with a wild elephant, then because of the power, the formidable nature of the obstacle before the lion, then the lion's courage is incited to the highest point. So in the same way, just as the courage of a lion is incited by having to face a wild elephant, so in the same way, Prem is not discouraged, actual Prem is not discouraged by obstacles, but rather Prem is inflamed, becomes nourished and stronger and stronger. It is not like us in this world. If we have to do some service and some obstacles come, all we hear, actually what is the true standard of Shuddha Bhakti? Oh, it's so difficult. I should give up. We can become discouraged by obstacles. That is due to what? Absence of Prem. When Prem is there, when love is there, then the obstacles inflame the courage. And the love becomes more intense. So prior to meeting, all of these obstacles, Lokadvayat, the demigods can make obstacles, Lokadvayat, Sojanata, Radhika's own Sakis can make obstacles. Lalita can tell Srimati Radhika, Durte Brajenda Taniye Tan Sustu Bhamya. Madakshina Bhavakan Kimilagavaya. Radhe Giram Srinivhitamiti Shikshayantim. Devim Gunais Lalitam Namami. Oh, Krishna is coming. Don't look at him, don't speak to him. You should be contrary. Become like a golden statue, very hard. So even if Radhika, she wants to associate with Krishna, but her Sakhi Lalita, knowing that Krishna is quite cunning, he may have done something unpleasant. So Radhika's own group may stop her from meeting with Krishna. Lokadoyat Swajanata Bharata, or the opposite group, Chandravali, Padma and Shailya, they may try to steal Krishna when he's on his way to meet with Radhika. Lokadoyat Swajanato Bharata Swatova. Radhika herself can make obstacles because her brain has a life of its own. She cannot control it. Shringarayani Bhavatimma Visaryani Vikshaiva Kanta Badanam Parivrittayantim Dhritvanchalena Harisani Dimaniyani Samprapya Tharima Sunamrashtar Bhavani. Oh, one Manjuya has decorated Radhika from head to toe, and he's taking her on Abhisa through the forest at night to meet with Krishna. But when they arrive at the Sanket, the appointed place, then the moment Radhika sees Krishna, she suddenly changes her mind and turns around to leave. This is an example of obstacle caused by oneself. She suddenly changes her mind. Because brain is so crooked, like the movement of a snake. And then that maid servant, she spent so much time decorating Radhika, and now all this decoration is for nothing because she's leaving. So she catches Radhika by the anchal and pulling her towards Krishna. And then Krishna is seeing this beautiful spectacle of Radhika trying to leave and her Sakhi trying to pull her the other way, and Radhika is waving her finger. Waving her finger and saying, let go of me. I am not like you. I am a very religious woman. I am very dharmic. So the obstacles can come in so many forms. From the demigods, from one's own group, from the opposing group, from Jatila, Kutila, from even oneself, and even from Krishna. Krishna himself can make obstacles. So finally, when all of these obstacles have finally been overcome, and the meeting is on, Jayo Jayo Radha Krishna Jugalamna, Jayo Jayo Radha Krishna Jugalamna, Arati Karai Radhe Jari Sakhi. Everyone is favorable. Krishna is favorable, Radhika is favorable, the demigods are favorable, all the Sakhis, Lalita, everyone is favorable. Lalita wasn't favorable before, but now what is she doing? Arati Karai Lalita Sakhi. Before she was saying, Durte Brajenda Tanya, don't talk to him. Now Lalita sat them down on a beautiful singhasan and she's offering arati. So Jai, not once, twice. What is the mood of this arati? Because in the temple we're offering arati and everyone understands, here is God. And we're doing puja, we're worshipping, formal worship. Some persons even have a conception that each one of the articles in the arti represents the various elements, because everything in the world is Krishna's energy and he should be served by everything. So the incense, which has fragrance, that's the quality of earth. So we're offering to Krishna the earth element, the water element, the fire element, the air element with the fan, like this. So people have some idea like this, that you have to worship God and everything is used in His service. And metaphysically speaking, it's okay. But this will not get one very close to Vrindavan. This will. the mood of Vaidhi Bhakti. In Ragamart, one has to follow the associates. What is the mood of the Sakhis when they're offering Arti to Radha and Krishna? You see? Even Madhya Yashoda, when Krishna returns in the evening from taking the cows to graze, Madhya Yashoda and all the elderly mothers, they also offer Arti to Krishna. So it cannot be because they think he's God. So there's another meaning to Arti. Arti is a reception when you receive someone, you welcome them in this way. But the bhav of when a person is offering Arti is that, oh my beloved, more dear to me than my pride. Whatever obstacles may come, you have overcome so many obstacles to be here together. But in the future, if any obstacles will come, due to fate, then let all those problems, let all those obstacles, make all those difficulties fall on my head, but let you be free from all inconvenience. You should not suffer. So when the Sakhis are offering Arti to Radha and Krishna, they're offering their own lives. This is a gesture. That you should be happy. You should not have any problem. No ill fate should come to you. Whatever ill fate was meant to come to you, it should come to me instead. But let you be happy. This is the meaning of the mood of Arti in Braj, whether Madhya Yashoda is offering, or whether the Lita and the Sakhis are offering to Radha and Krishna. It's such an expression of love. I remember once, my Gurudev was on Parakram and he was meeting with one of his godbrothers. And this godbrother, he saw that Srila Gurudev, he was having a pastime of some illness. But at the same time, he was preaching and inspiring people all over the world. Whereas that godbrother, out of his humility, he was thinking, I am not doing such service, I cannot inspire others, but I am quite healthy. So then when he was speaking, he said, oh, I am praying to Krishna that whatever is left of my life and my health, let it be taken away and give it to my godbrother Srila Narayan Raj, that he will be healthy and preach everywhere. Very sweet. So, if the sadhaks in this world can have such a feeling for each other of love, then what to speak of the Sakhis in Vrindavan? Such selfless praying. So, Jai Jai Radha Krishna Jubila Milan, all the obstacles are over. Arati Karai Lalitani Sakigan. And may there be no more obstacles. The Sakhis, we will take everything on us, but let Radha and Krishna be happy. Because their happiness is our happiness only. There's no separate interest. So then, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Madana Mohana Rupa Trivanga Sundara, Madana Mohana Rupa Trivanga Sundara, Pitambara Siki Putra Chudamanoha, Pitambara Siki Putra Chudamanoha. Madana Mohana Rupa Radha Sangi Yadha Bhati Tadam Madana Mohana Anyatha Vishwarupo Bhi Swayam Madana Mohita. The parrots in Vrindavan quarrel with each other. Male parrots. The Sukh said, my Krishna is Madan Mohan. The female parrot said, oh, yes, Krishna is Madan Mohan when he's standing next to my Radhika. If Krishna is next to Radhika, then he is Madan Mohan. He bewilders Cupid. But if Radhika is not there, then he himself is bewildered by Cupid. Shamyatanna param kadapi taved shanna karomi Dehi sundari dashana mama manmatena dunomi. See, Krishna, when he's alone, he becomes mad and crying. Oh Radhika, please forgive me. Please come back to me. I promise. I promise. I will never make such an offense to you again. Dehi Sundari Darshana Mama. Oh Sundari or Radhika, give me your darshan and save my life. You are dying? Yes, Manmatena Dunomi. Because Cupid is shooting his arrows. I am full of the arrows of Cupid in your absence. So Krishna is Madan Mohan. Krishna is beautiful. But when he's next to Radhika, he's more beautiful. Why? Something very wonderful. At the end of the song, it will become clear. So Madana Maharupa Tribhanga Sundar. See, Krishna is standing in his threefold bending form, Tribhanga. Because Prem is very crooked. And so it causes him to take this crooked posture, playing his flute. Pitambara Skipicha, he's wearing a golden chada over his shoulders. Why? Because this golden cloth is the complexion of Radhika. So he wears it to always feel as if he is in, and to remind him of Radhika's embrace. It's like a shakun, an omen. That I am embraced by this golden cloth is an omen that I will be embraced by golden Radhika. Pitambara Sikipits Chura Manohar, and his hair is, he has mukut and with peacock feather in it, and he looks Manohar. That means that his beauty, Manohar, steals the heart. Seeing his beauty, cannot remember anything else. But, Ei Prema Dwari Nitya Radhika Ikali Amara Madhurya Amrita Ashwade Sokali. Krishna said that the beauty of any person is experienced in proportion to one's love. So who has more love sees more beauty. Because Radhika has the most love, the highest love, only Radhika can relish my sweetness, my Madhurya Amrita, the nectar of my sweetness, fully. Amara Madhurya Amrita Ashwades Sokali. So those who are in the shelter of Radhika, they are very fortunate. Because when they become pervaded by Radhika's praying, then their eyes are open to see that beauty of Krishna that only Radhika can see. This is the speciality of the dasis of Srimati Radhika. So, see, Kamal Manjari is saying, Madana Mohana Rupa Tribhanga Sundar. Krishna is so beautiful. But why? Because he's next to Radhika, and Radhika's bhav is filling the eyes of the maidservants with praying, allowing them to see the sweetness of Krishna that no one else can see. So Madana Mohana Rupa Tribhanga Sundar. Radhika herself, when she sees Krishna, we cannot imagine. It's not, if we see someone, we just go, look, we saw that. Don't try to compare our own experience of seeing someone with Radhika's experience of seeing Krishna. This is something else. Radhika said, Saundaryamrita Sindhu Bangalananachi Tadri Samplavaka Kana Nandi Sanarva Ramya Vachanako Tindu Sitanga Sorabhyamrita Samplavarta Jagat Piyusha Ramyadara Sri Gopendra Sutas Kashti Bala Panchindriyanyaline. Saundaryamrita Sindhu, the beauty of Krishna is like an ocean of nectar. Chittadri Samplavaka. And the chitta, the hearts of Braja Gopis are very firm, very steady. They have composure, they have inscrutability, they have the gravity. Like a mountain doesn't move. Because they are very dharmic, they are very religious. But the beauty of Krishna is like a tidal wave. As if the ocean has risen up and even mountains become submerged in beneath the ocean. So Radhika said, even though Chittagri, the hearts of gopis are very high, very exalted and immovable, they have patience, they have the dedication to the Vedic Dharma, yet still they become helpless, because when Krishna's beauty comes before them, then Samplavaka, those mountains become completely submerged under the ocean of his sweetness. You can't see them. That means that for Radhika, to meet with Krishna is like disappearing under an ocean. Everything else vanishes, and she's completely captivated by the beauty of Krishna. She cannot remember even what happened just before, or her previous life, or anything. This is one of the symptoms of Mahabhav. Jai Kali Baswapane, Dekinu Bansi Badane, Say Kali Aile Dui Vairi, Ananda Amadan, Hari Nilamorama, Dekitena Painu Netrabhari. Radhika said, whenever I saw Krishna, either when I was awake or sometimes in a dream even, but the moment I tried to see him, then at once my vision was blocked, it was stolen. Two enemies came before me, Ananda and Madan. Ananda is joy, and Madan means Cupid, amorous desire. And these two, they stole my mind in such a way that I was unable to even see him. Yada yato daivam maduripu Lochanapatam Tadasmakan Cheto Madan Hatakena Punayasmin Ekakshanam Apidishoreti Padavim Vadasyasmastasmin Akila Gatikaratna Kachita. Sri Radhika says that, O Sakhi, when I had the chance to meet with Sri Krishna, Yadayato Daivam Madhuripura Solo Chanapatam, he came onto the pathway of my eyes somehow or other by great fortune. Then at that moment, at once, Madana Hatakena Haritamabut, Madam Cupid, stole away my mind. Or if I could have the chance to see him again, then each moment, each second that I see him, I will be so grateful for those divisions of time that I will take sandalwood paste and garlands and jewel ornaments and decorate each second of time out of gratitude for giving me the chance to see Krishna once again. So this is the nature of Mahabhav, that seeing Krishna, this bhav rises up and it erases Radhika's memory of everything that happened before. And she's completely absorbed in him. And then afterwards, when Sri Krishna goes, then again, her memory of meeting with him is erased and she feels, I've never met with him. What happened? Her Sakhis come and ask her, oh please, tell me, what happened? They don't ask directly. But they say, oh, I can see that you have been eating so many very delicious fruits, tasting so much rasa. Right? No, I have never tasted any rasa. In an indirect way, Shamala comes in the morning to get the latest news. You know, in the morning you're supposed to take bath in a holy river. So in the early morning, Shamala always comes to visit Srimati Radhika to take bath in the river of the nectar of the gossip of what happened last night. Oh, Radhika, tell me what happened. I had never met him. No, I can see there's some mark on your lip. You tasted the fruit. It was Must have been a little bitter because it's given you sore. So, you should tell me, alright, I saw him, but it was like a flash of lightning. When there's a flash of lightning, it's dark, then the lightning flashes, and after the flash of lightning, it seems even darker. I only remember my sakis, they took me there into the forest. And then I saw Krishna. And then I saw a stage, and millions of cupids were dancing on the stage. And after that, I don't know what happened. I don't remember anything. So Mahabharata is like this. Meeting with Krishna. Everything that happened before is erased, and there's only meeting with Krishna. The density of that absorption in loving and serving Krishna is such that nothing else exists. And then when it's over, then the memory seems as if erased again. And I never met again. This is why it is Krishna's beauty is Manavas, deals the mind. So Saundaryamrita Sindhu Banga Lalana. Seeing the beauty of Krishna is like the mountain of the hearts of the gopis just disappearing under a tidal wave of nectar. What happened? Kana Nandi Sarnam Ramya Vachana Kotin Dusi Kangika. And the words of Krishna, the joking words of Krishna, they are so sweet, like nectar. The touch of Krishna is more cooling than 10 million moons. The fragrance of Krishna. Upon taking the fragrance of Krishna, it seems as if the entire universe has taken on that fragrance. Everywhere they go, the gopis, they can only smell the fragrance of Krishna. The nectar of Sri Krishna's lips is indescribable. So Radhika is saying by 5 senses, by sight, sound, touch, smell and taste. The sweetness of Krishna is forcibly catching all of her senses and dragging them towards Sri Krishna. That means that Radhika's attraction to Krishna is not under her volition at all. Again, we see very often in the words of Radhika, she speaks in such a way that there's no dosh with me. The fault is not with me, the fault is with Krishna's beauty. So, see Gopendra Sutta Sakashri Balak Panchindriyanalime. The 5 aspects of Krishna, his beauty, his fragrance, his touch, his sound, his taste and smell, they're all forcibly dragging all of my senses. And so, the 5 senses they're organized by the mind. Manashastrandriyani praktisthani karshati. So the mind organizes the senses in such a way that the mind will prioritize one sense or another. That's why, if I am speaking, but if someone's moving around outside and you turn and you look away and you watch what they're doing, then the next thing you know is, oh, what did he say? And you didn't hear it. Your ears were open, but you didn't hear it because your mind gave priority to the eye. So the mind is always prioritizing one sense over another. It can't prioritize all of them at the same time. So Radhika said, my mind is like a horse with 5 riders on it, the 5 senses, and the 5 riders want the horse to go in different directions at the same time, pulling that horse. Then what will he do? So then she becomes unconscious, forgets everything. She's about to faint. She becomes jugged, stunned, about to fall unconscious. She goes into an alternative state of awareness where she cannot remember anything, but still the sweetness of Krishna remains there, tasted by her anurag. So Madana Mohana Rupa Trivanga Sundar. What happened? Jai Jai Radha Krishna Jugomilan. After many obstacles they've come together, now Radhika is seeing the beauty of Krishna. Madana Mohana Rupa Trivanga Sundar. And Lalita Madhava Bone Vrishabhalu Kanya Nila Basana Gauri Rupe Gunedanya. On the left side of Madhav, Sri Krishna is Vrishabhalu Kanya, the daughter of Vrishabhalu Maharaj. These names are full of sweetness, because generally a person will think Radhika is a goddess. But if you say, oh, she's the daughter of this king, that is Naravacha, pure sweetness. So the daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, though she's a princess, though she's from a very reputable family, but still, risking everything, she secretly come to meet with Krishna. Sunila Vasana Gauri Gune Dhanya. And she's so Dhanya. Dhanya means good fortune. She's so Bhagavati. What is the meaning of good fortune for a female? A woman is so Bhagavati when, by her prem and by her services, her beloved is completely under her control. So she's Dhanya. She's Gauri. Sunila Vasana. She's wrapped in a blue cloth. So just as Krishna is wrapped in a golden cloth because the golden cloth reminds him of Radhika, Radhika wears a blue cloth because it reminds her of Sri Krishna. Sunila Vasana Gauri Rupe Gune Dhanya. Her beauty and her gun, her qualities, her sweetness are all so wonderful that she is Dhanya. By them, she controls Sri Krishna. It is said that Radhika has 10 prominent sweetnesses in her form and beauty. Gaurange Madhima Smriteva Durima Netranchali Dragima Vaksujjai Garima Tataiva Tanima Madhyegato Mandima Sronyam Cha Pratima Bruvo Kutilima Bimbada Rikshonima Sri Radhe Ridite Rasena Janima Dhyanestu Me Gochara. Gaurange, in her golden limbs, she has the sweetness of Mradima. Gaurange Mradima. Mriduta means softness. The golden limbs of Radhika are so soft that when Rupa Manjari and Rati Manjari, they go to the forest and they pick Navamalika, fresh jasmine buds, and they make a very beautiful decoration. A bed of fresh jasmine buds in a kunj where Radha Krishna will recline. Then in the morning, when Radhika has been sleeping and she wakes up, then Rupa Manjari looks, and on the back of the Sri Anga of Srimati Radhika, there is imprint of each and every one of the Navamalika buds. So then Rupa Manjari, she says to Rati Manjari, "Oh Rati Manjari, we should not pick these Navamalika buds again. The whole night has passed and even they have not become wilted. They are too hard. From today we will make the Shaya, the Kelikunj Kelitalpe, Kunj Kelitalpe, Kunjai Prasuna, Kelitalpe, the bed of flowers, we'll make it from Utica flowers, not Navamalika. From today with Utica flowers because they are more soft. Because Radhika's body is bruised. Is it bruised? No. Her body isn't bruised, but her body is so soft that the mark of each bud is there on her body. But because Rupa Manjari has so much attachment, so much pranay, feelings of oneness for Radhika, she cannot tolerate it. So even an impression on the skin, she exaggerates, it's a bruise. She's bruised everywhere. Not really, actually. But that's the nature of the prem of Rupa Manjari. So Gauran Gaimragima Smriteva Durima. Then the softness and then the sweetness of her smile. Why? Because the smile is the anubhav, its reaction to her prem. If Radhika is in man, then she will not smile. But if Krishna will somehow break her man, then the sign that the man is broken is the smile comes on her lips. So this is very sweet. Now Radhika is relenting in her resistance and agreeing to meet with Krishna. So her smile is sweet. Netrantale dragima. And the dragima, that means the Dirga, how her eyes are so long, very, very long, with black kajal reaching almost to her ears. Krishna says that, oh, just see, by her sidelong glances, Radhika is sharpening the arrows of her glance upon the stones of her earrings, because her earrings have the jewels in them. So just as an archer before the battle, he takes his arrow and he sharpens the arrow on the stone. So it is as if Radhika by her glance is sharpening the arrow of her glance on the jewels, on the stones of her earrings. But in a battle, you know, a Kshatriya may be shot and he'll just pull it out and keep fighting. Unless there's poison on the tip of the arrow. So Lalita has given black kajal. This black kajal is like the poison on the tip of the arrow of Radhika's glance. So when she shoots that glance in the heart of Krishna, then there's 0% of survival, chance of survival for Krishna. Yas kataksha gata vimurchitasya. Krishna will faint from the beautiful glance of Radhika. There's a big difference. When Krishna is meeting in the Kunj with Radhika, in the loving pastime, sometimes Krishna may faint. Sometimes when Krishna is meeting with other gopis like Chandravali, in other groups, Krishna may also faint. But there's a big difference between Sri Krishna fainting in the Kunj of Radhika and Krishna fainting in the Kunj of Chandravali and other gopis. If Krishna is fainting in the Kunj of Radhika, it's because he was shot by her glance and he overwhelmed by her prem. And if he faints in the Kunj of Chandravali or another gopi, it's because he was remembering the glance of Radhika. So don't try to equalize Radhika with anyone. So Gaurange Ranimas Vite Mudina Natranchale Dragima, the length of her eyes, the extension of her eyes, Vaksu Jai Garima, the garima, the weight, the heaviness of her breast. Vaksu Jai Garima, Tathaiva Thanima, the Thanima, that means the narrowness of her waist. Very, very narrow waist. Madhye Gato Mandima, and the slowness of her gait. She walks very gracefully, Gajagamini, moving from side to side like this. Why Sronyam Chad Pratima? Because her hips are very broad. Bruvo Kutilima, and her eyebrows are very, very arched, long and arched eyebrows. Bimbadarek Shonima, and her lips are very red. And Si Radhe Rite Rasena Jadima, and her heart has a Jadima. This is one sweetness of Radhika. The sweetness is Jadima, that she becomes stunned and forgets everything. Jadima is a state that takes place just before fainting. So she hasn't fainted, but she's in it just prior to fainting, this special state where everything disappears and the person, who am I, where am I? So this is the sweetness of Radhika. So when Radha and Krishna meet, then Radhika, Krishna sees all these sweetnesses of Radhika, and especially that she's becoming about to faint. That's why we see sometimes when Radhika meets with Krishna, Lalita Sakhi will say, "Oh Radhika, he's a dirt, he's a cheetah, he's very bad," and criticize Krishna. She's not saying it only because Krishna is something, it's really true sometimes. But she's saying it to try to break Radhika out of the spell. Because if she'll come to Krishna and just swoon, Krishna will think, "Ah, that was easy. Come on, let's go." So the Sakhis, they don't want Radhika to be easy. She has to be hard to catch. That will increase Krishna's eagerness. So sometimes the way that the Sakhis speak with Radhika is to stop her from fainting, because then Krishna will get the impression that she's easily available. Like Chandravali. And we cannot have that. Krishna not thinking that way. So, these are the sweetnesses of Radhika. Lalita Madhava Bhame Vrishabhanu Kanya Sunya Vasana Gauri Rupe Guni Danya. So then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Nanavida Alankar Kori Jalma Harimanu Bimohanu Badana Uchva Nanavida Alankar Kori Jalma Harimanu Bimohanu Badana Uchva Jayo Jayo Radha Krishna Jugalamla Arati Korai Lalitati Sakila None of it Alankar Kori Jalamal. Kamala Manjari is not finished describing the beauty of Radhika. In one verse she described the beauty of Krishna, but one verse is not enough for Radhika. So now she continues to say, Nana Vida Alankar, that means many different types of alankars, ornaments. Kori Jalamala. Jalamala means glittering, shining, shimmering. Even if Radhika is still, but doesn't look still, there are waves of beauty. This is Jalamala. Radhika has so many ornaments. Earrings, nose ring, chain, the crown, tiara, necklaces, armlets, bangles, finger rings. She has rings on every finger except for the index finger and thumb of her left hand. On her thumb, she has one ring, and on this ring there's a little mirror. So just like yesterday we were hearing how Krishna, he could not look directly at Radhika because she was surrounded by devotees. So he looked down and then saw Radhika reflected in his costume. So sometimes Radhika, she makes a show of turning away from Krishna. But she can't help it, she still wants to look at him. So she has a little mirror on her thumb ring, so she turns away. So Nana Vida Alankar, Radhika has so many ornaments. All these ornaments have their own pastimes. Her ankle bells, toe rings, her waist bells. When her hips are moving, then the waist bells are jingling. And the sound of the waist bells jingling are like mantras that control the mind of Krishna. Vasikaran mantras, Akarshan mantras. So Nana Vida Alankar Kori Jhalama. So this refers to, in one sense, Radhika's sparkling ornaments. But you should know also that these ornaments are actually the embodiments of Radhika's bhavs. Bhavs are feelings, they are abstract. But when the feelings get the support of Sandhini Shakti, the existence potency, then they exist. Spiritually they have forms. So Radhika's ears have a greed, a lobe to always hear about the qualities and pastimes of Sri Krishna. So Radhika's lobe to hear, the greed to hear the pastimes of Sri Krishna, that bhav, taking the support of Sanjini Shakti, is manifest as her earrings. Her crookedness. Someone is crooked has a black heart, so the crookedness, the blackness of her heart, is manifest as the shining black kajal on her eyes. Her modesty, she is very humble, as manifest as her choli, kanchuli. Because her body is very beautiful, so that cloth which is covering the beauty of her body from the world, that is her modesty. Her skirt, her lower lahanga, is her shyness. So all the bhavs of Radhika, taking the support of the Sandhini Shakti, and the abstract becomes concrete. So these are all the ornaments of Radhika. They're shimmering. Why? Because they're the manifestation of her ecstasis, of love for Krishna. It is said, Damodar Rati Vardhana Veshe. The Divesh, the decorations of Radhika, are increasing the love of Damodar, Shri Krishna. Krishna is Damodar. It took Madhya Yashoda hours from early morning till noon trying to tie him with a rope. But when Sri Krishna sees Radhika, not even seeing her beautiful ornaments, they're all covered by a cloth as she comes in the night for Abhisar. But only some light of her beauty peeping out from beneath the cloth, and Krishna becomes Damodar, bound in 1 second. So Krishna cannot be attracted by jewelry. Krishna is only attracted by Prem. But the thing is, this jewelry, these are the manifestations of Radhika's Prem. Understand? That's why he is attracted. Huh? In this world, a person may be attracted by someone's clothing and ornaments. But this is only the dim reflection of the actual transcendental reality when Krishna is attracted by the clothing and ornaments of Radhika, but it's not actually, it's actually the Prem. Only the love, his main quality is Prema Vasyata. He's controlled by love. And Bhakta Vatsalata, he's very, very affectionate to his loving devotees. These are the two main qualities of Krishna. Therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Hari Mano Vimohana Vadana Ujjval. The shining face of Radhika is Hari Mano Vimohana. It is bewildering and stealing the heart of Krishna. So she's wearing ornaments, these ornaments are bhavs, and Radhika also has bhav alankars. That means she has emotional ornaments. In classical literature, there are 20 emotional ornaments. Bhav, Hav, Hela, Shobha, Dipti, Kanti, Vichiti, Vilas, Vibram, Darya, Madhurya, Audarya, Vivok, Kutumita, Motayata, Kila Kinjit. So, in this way, in the classical literature, there are 20 different types of emotional ornaments, which are very attractive. And in Radhika, she has the 20 classical ones, but two more, Mugdha and Chakata. So, Radhika has these emotional ornaments, and they are stealing the mind of Sri Krishna. She has these emotional ornaments are there also because the Sakhis who are around Radhika, it will come in the next verse, Vishaka the Sakhigan Nanaragi Gai, that Vishaka and other Sakhis are singing songs. Because they sing the songs of Radhika's previous pastimes with Sri Krishna, the emotions which are in that song manifest in the heart of Radhika, and so then she becomes decorated by the Bhav Alankars, emotional ornaments, by her Sakhi singing. You understand? So that's another way. The Sakhis don't only decorate Krishna by taking the ornaments physically with their hands and decorating her, but by singing of her pastimes of various meetings with Krishna. So then Radhika, remembering those pastimes, she relives them, and all the emotions she was feeling at that time manifest in her heart, and so she becomes decorated with the Bhav Alankars. When the Sakhis are singing or speaking, they speak in poetry, and the poetry is covered with literary embellishments. They're also called in Sanskrit Alankars, Kavya Alankar, poetic ornaments. So the Sakhis, by their poetic ornaments, decorate Radhika with Bhava ornaments. And ultimately, what is the supreme ornament for a heroine? The hero. She looks most beautiful when she is decorated with the Purusha Bhushan. Bhushan means ornament, and Purush means the hero, the male. So, here, it has been said before, Lalita Madame Bhame, on the left side of Sri Krishna, Radhika is there. That means now Radhika is decorated. The Sakhis have really fulfilled their service. Why? They decorated Radhika with ornaments. By their singing, they decorated with Bhavalankar, and then they brought her to the forest so that she'll be decorated with the supreme Purusha Bhushan, Krishna. So Nagavira Alankar Hari Jalamal. So we can see that Krishna is one type of ornament for Radhika. So because Krishna is moved by the bhavs of Radhika, Krishna is also shining. Krishna is shimmering due to the bhavs of Radhika. Of the 22 Bhavalankas, one of them is called Kilakinchits. Kilakinchits means a bouquet of buds, of different beautiful flowers. Because this is not one mood, but 7 moods all together in a bouquet. Garva Abhilasa Rudita Smita Suya Vayakudam Sankari Karnam Hashad Uchate Kilakinchitam. Rupa Goswami describes that the basis of these 7 moods is actually harsha. That means jubilation. Just like if you make a rasagula. The rasagula has so many ingredients. There's some gulab jal, rose water, some sugar, chini, some elaichi, cardamom, some saffron. There are so many ingredients, but the basis is curd of the rasagula. But when all the other ingredients are put together on the basis of the curd, then it makes a new flavor, which is adbhut, astonishing. So in the same way, on the basis of harsh, joy. What joy? Jai Jai Radha Krishna Yugal Milan. The joy of Radhika's meeting with Krishna. Then, if Krishna is naughty and tries to touch Radhika publicly in an inappropriate way, then Radhika, she retracts somewhat from him. And such a look, 7 emotions come on her face at the same time. Garva, pride. Pride means, I am greater, I am Vrindavaneshwari, I am greater than you. Garva. Abhilas, desire. That means to please Krishna. Rudita. Tears are coming in her eyes. She narrows her eyes and her Pakshmankur, the sprouts of her eyelashes are very, very thick. And as she closes her eyes, then the tears are coming out and they just manage to burst through and appear in between the thick lashes of Radhika like jewels. So Garva, Abhilasa, Rudita, Smita, she is crying and smiling at the same time. Asuya, she's becoming hostile to Krishna. Bhai, she feels some fear. Kurdha, some anger. But all of these are just the various ingredients, like elaichi, like chini, like gulab jal, like saffron, all on the basis of harsh, the joy of meeting with Sri Krishna. So this is called Kilakinchit Bhav. It's very difficult to understand because in other Rasic traditions they think that the supreme Ananda of Radha Krishna's meeting is their union in the Nikunja. But Rupa Goswami Pad, by the empowerment of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, has revealed that actually Vidagdanam Mitolila Vidagdanam Mitolila Vilasena Yathasukam Natathasam Prayogena Shadevam Rasika Vidu. Those who really know rasa, they understand that when the hero and the heroine are very artistic and very talented in all the arts of love, when they meet and they play together in that lila vilas, there is more happiness than their very confidential union. More. So Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Party said, Ei bhava yukta dekhi radhasya nayan sangamai te sukh pai koti gun. When Sri Krishna sees Radharani's face light up with these beautiful 7 moods simultaneously, then see Krishna experiences 10 million times more happiness than his confidential meeting with him. This is the conclusion of the Rasics. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Nana Veda Alankara Kori Jalama Harimana Vimohana Vadana Ujval. See Krishna, seeing the glowing face of Radhika, his heart is stolen because he's experiencing even 10 million times more happiness than if he was meeting with her secretly and privately. There and then, just seeing the glow in her face with these Bhav Alankars. Very beautiful. Then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Vishakati Sakigan Nararage Gai Priya Narma Saki Jata Chamaradulai. Radha and Krishna have come together and they're seated on a very beautiful golden jeweled throne beneath a Kadamba tree, a Kalpavriksha tree, on the bank of Jamuna. They're surrounded by the Sakhis, and Vishaka Sakhi is singing in various ragas. Singing is an anubhav. So Vishaka Sakhi is expressing her love through the singing. And Priyanama Sakhi Jata Chamaradulai, the Priyanama Sakhis, Priyanama Sakhi means the Palyadasis, the Manjaris. Chamaradulai, they're standing next to Radhika or on each side of Radhika, and they have chamaras, and they're gently fanning Radhika with their chamaras. So we described how Vishakhi, she's singing so many pastimes. She may sing about the first day that Radha and Krishna met each other closely. And so this is very beautiful, that if there is a hero and heroine, they experience great joy remembering what it was like the first time they met. So in this way, Vishaka Sakhi, she's invoking so many sentiments of love and singing in very beautiful ragas. And the Priyanama Sakhis, they are fanning with chamaras. So the Raghunath Das Goswami says, Arata Kina Babatim Kimudeva Devim Nimancha Tistaritaram Lalita Pramodat Anyali Astana Mangala Gana Pushpai Prana Budai Apikacha Apigasi Kayam. Oh, when will that day come? When the Lalita Sakhi is offering arti to Radha and Krishna. At that time, the other Sakhis, Mangalagana, they're singing auspicious, beautiful songs. Other Sakhis are showering flower petals. Jai Jai Radha Krishna Shubha. And flower petals are falling on Radha and Krishna. And Raghunath Das Goswami Pad said, when will I be there as Rati Manjari? Prana Buddha Apitikacha Apidas Kayam. There's a wonderful bhav in this Chamara Seva. Yesterday we discussed how Radhika was coronated as the Vrindavaneshwari, the Empress of Vrindavan. So the chatra, the parasol, and the white chamar, these are actually the insignia of an emperor. Anyone is not allowed to use them. Just like, the Pandrak Vasudev, his servants were fanning him, and he sent a message to Krishna, I am the real Vasudev. So you should give up the white parasol, the chatra, the white umbrella, and give up the white chamaras. I am the real emperor. So these are the insignia of emperor. Anyone can use them. So when the Manjaris are fanning Radhika with the chamar, they do it with such pride. Oh, my Radhika is Vrindavaneshwari. Not Chandravali, not Bhadra, Shaibya, Padma, or anyone. Only Radhika is the empress of this Vrindavan. And also, you know that the chamar, it has thousands and thousands of hairs, white hairs, it's of the yak tail. So they have a mood that each one of these hairs is my pran. Because in your body, you have 72,000 nadis. Sushumna nadi, Ida, Pingala, and 72,000 nadis all over the body by which you are alive. And the prana is moving in those nadis, in sutras, in like threads everywhere. So the Manjaris, they think, oh, this chamar is like my 72,000 pranas. And by that, I am worshipping Radhika. So Raghunath Das Goswami says, prana abuddha apichikacha pidasageyam. By my prana abuddha, by my millions, not 72,000, arbuddha, by millions of prans, may I worship Radhika. Apikachar means that, one Manjari has the chamar and she's fanning very gently. It's necessary to fan. Why? Because when Radhika meets with Krishna and the Mahabhav manifests, one of the symptoms of Mahabhav is prakashita. That the sattvic bhavs, the bodily transformations, become highly inflamed in the stage of udipta. Udipta sattvika bhav, at least. It may go higher even. But udipta sattvika bhav. So that means Radhika will begin to perspire. So it's necessary to fan her with the chamar. Because of the sattvic bhav coming from her Mahabhav being close to Sri Krishna. So one Manjari is fanning with the chamar. And Rati Manjari is thinking, I also want to fan. But all the chamaras are taken. Then what can I do? So then the Manjaris have very long veni, long braid, and they open their braid. Rati Manjari opens her braid, and then taking her braid, now she uses her own hair as the chamar. This is very sweet meaning. Prana boda apichkachar. Fanning with the chamar. Apikachar means, and sometimes with my hair. Using my hair as a chamar. Why? Because chamar is white, but hair is black like Krishna. So this fanning with the chamar indicates, may you be served by Krishna's millions of prans. Understand? Krishna should serve you with his millions of prans. Yeah? So, Priyanama Saki Jata Chamara Dulai. This part is there. So then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Shri Radha Manavapara Chayasi Jashe Bhakti Vinoda Saki Pare Sukhe Bashe. Always aspiring for the service of the lotus feet of Radha and Madhav in their beautiful meeting. This Bhaktinod is the Sukhe Bashe floating in the Sukh, Seva Sukh, floating in the ocean of joy. When you're floating in the ocean, you can't decide which way you will go. The ocean, you are floating and the ocean is just carrying you here and there. That means Prem has become karta. Prem has become the doer. That is the symptom. That experience is there in Yavadashrayuti of Mahabharata. So, in the end, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying always to have that service, to be floating in the ocean of joy at the feet of the Sakis. That means to be a maidservant of Radhika under the guidance of Sakis and serving Radha and Krishna in their meeting. So you can give it to Radha. So in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Ramananda Sangha, there's a very beautiful verse spoken by a Vrinda Devi, where Vrinda Devi, in continuation from yesterday, the glories of Vrinda, where Vrinda Devi, in the most exquisite poetry, is expressing the joy of Radha Krishna's meeting, that very joy in which Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, may I always float in that joy. So, Vrinda Devi is saying, Radhaya bhavatascha chita jatani sweda virapya kamat yunjat adrini kunja kunja pateni duta veda brahman chitraya swayam anvaranjad Iha Brahmandahami Udari Bhuyobi Navaraga Ingalabarai Sringara Kayukriti. Brahmadevi is saying, "O Krishna, there is one artist, Sringara Kayukriti. This artist, just as if there's a house like this, an artist wants to make it beautiful, breathtaking, then he'll have to paint it with very bright red colors. So he'll take shellac, which is itself already red, but it's somewhat hard. And then he'll heat the shellac and melt it. And then he'll take vermilion and mix it in, and then it will become very bright. And after he's slowly melting the shellac, and then he's added the vermilion and mixed it together, then he will paint the palace. And if anyone will come into that palace, then they become amazed." So here, Vrinda Devi is saying that Sringar Rasa, that is Prem itself, Sringar Rasa, romantic love itself, has become an artist. And Krishna, your heart, and the heart of Radhika, they're like as if made of shellac. And he's melting them together, and then mixed in the red vermilion. And then, this is color. He's coloring the whole universe. The universe is like a palace, which has been decorated by the artist, and everyone is struck with wonder. So she's saying here, Radhaya bhavatasta cheta jatani sweda vilapya kramat yunjanatri nikunja kundrapate. Oh Krishna, you're like an elephant, a young intoxicated elephant, enjoying your pastimes in the caves of Giriraj Govardhan. Sringar Rasa, Sringar Rati, conjugal, that is not conjugal, but conjugal is used, but conjugal is really means in English married. So this is parity. So I hesitate to say the word conjugal, though it's often used. So the romantic love itself is like a personality who has melted the shellac of your hearts through the heat of your perspiration, the heat of your own perspiration. He has used that as the fire to melt the shellac of your hearts. And he has mixed in the red vermilion of new rag. And he has decorated the palace of the universe, causing everyone to wonder. So this is the general translation of the verse. But it's poetry. So in Kavya, the main meaning is not directly in the words, but in the dhwani, in the suggestion. So there's a lot going on here, because Brinda Saki is describing the characteristics of Radha Krishna's meeting and the experience of Mahabhav. Radhika has Mahabhav, and because Krishna reciprocates as far as he cannot fully reciprocate with Radhika, but Krishna, only when he meets with the gopis can he experience the Mahabhav, because no one else has. But only when he meets with Radhika can he experience his highest experience of Bhav, Modan, Mohan, up to Mohan. And Madan he cannot experience for himself, but he experiences the influence of Radhika's Madan Bhav on him. So with Radhika there's such an experience of Prem that he cannot have with anyone else. Now, in the Mahabhav of Radhika, it's to be understood that all the characteristics of the other bhavs leading up to that are included. They're included in it. And not only that, but each of the levels of Prem that Radhika experiences is not equal to the same level in another gopi. Why? What I mean to say is, let's say there is a stage, Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranay, Rag, Anurag. So Chandravali can also have Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranay. So don't think that Radhika has Prem, then Chandravali may have Prem, then Radhika can have Sneha, Chandravali can have. But Radhika's love goes further. Where Chandravali's love cannot reach, Radhika's love goes further. No, not only that. Even in the lower stages, before Radhika goes to the levels of love that no one else can go, even before that, each level of her love is superior. Radhika's Prem is superior to Chandravali's Prem. Radhika's Sneha is superior to Chandravali's Sneha. Radhika's Man is superior to Chandravali's Man. Radhika's Pranay is superior to Chandravali's Pranay. Everything is superior. Why? Rupa Goswami said, Sava Bhava Gamollasi Madano Yam Paraparaha Rajate Ladini Saro Radayam Eva Yasada. He's saying that this Madanakya Mahabhav, the highest love of Radhika, is always in her. It's always in her. Then one may say, but we don't see that she's manifesting the symptoms of that Madan all the time. Yes, because this Madan Bhav is always in Radhika, but sometimes it is Antar Prakash and sometimes Bahi Prakash. It is always shining inside, but it is not always revealed outside. So when the other levels of love of Radhika are manifest, her Prem, her Sneha, her Pranay, her Rag, then Sava Bhava Gomallasi. The meaning is that Radhika's Madan Bhav, it ullas, it illuminates and expands all the other moods. So that's, when Rupa Goswami said this, he has two meanings. One meaning is, in Madan Bhav, all the other moods are included. And the other meaning is, if Radhika is not manifesting Madan, she's only manifesting some Prem or Sneha or Pranay or Rag, then that Rag itself is illuminated with a speciality that other gopis don't have because of the Madan in her heart. So that Madan in her heart, which is Antaprakash, shining within but not shining out, the Bhav which is shining out is also ullasit, also illuminated to a certain degree by the presence of the Madan within. And therefore, any stage of Radhika's Prem cannot be compared to any stage of any other gopis. Is it?
Try.
Yes? You caught it? Yes? So Sava Bhava Gomallasi means in the high stage all the Bhavas are included, or it means in the other stages leading to that, Radhika's each stage of Prem is special because there's an inner illumination of the Madan which is present in her, which gives it some Vaishishta, speciality over the same stages when they appear in other gopis. So, in this verse, see, Brinda Devi is describing how when Radha Krishna meet, Radhika goes through the various stages of Prem, and also in the high stage they all manifest at once, along with the three specialities of Mahabhav. Do you remember? What were the three special characteristics of Rudabhav? From yesterday morning. Morning is a little technical. Evening is easy for everyone. But only the fanatics are coming in the morning. So we can. Yes, the first one. Anuraga. Oh, that's the third one, sorry. First one? First one, Vedidasha. So, Anuraga Samvedya Dasha Prabha Prakashita Yavadasar Britisjet Bhava Ityabidiyate. This is a definition of Rudabhav, Mahabhav, or Mahabhav in general. So it covers Rudabhav and Adiruddha both. So first symptom is the Swasamvedya Dasha of Rudabhav. That means going to another level. Going outside oneself and seeing oneself and Krishna from a higher vantage point. And another thing here is, when it is said that Anurag becomes the object of its own perception, that means it becomes the exclusive object of its own perception. In other words, when that Rudabhav comes, then one cannot see anything else. One only sees the beauty of Krishna and also oneself loving Krishna, but from another vantage point. So that's called Rudabhav. So from that you can try to guess what Adiruddhabhav means.
Is that faith itself?
The Adiruddhabhav is again another. That means, because Adi means having as its object. So that praying which has as its object Ruddhabhav is called Adiruddhabhav. So just as Anurag becomes the object of its own experience to make Ruddhabhav, now Ruddhabhav becomes the object of its own experience in Adiruddhabhav. So then this makes something, maybe tomorrow we'll discuss that, that's another experience. Okay, so but the first thing here, the first special characteristics of Mahabhav is Sosamvedya Dasha, then Prakashita, that the sattvic bhavs become very intense, and then lastly, the Yavadashrai Vritti, that it overflows and begins to affect everyone around. So all of these things, all the special characteristics of Mahabhav, and also the stages of praying leading up to it, have been described poetically in one verse by Brinda Devi here. So I asked Janava to project it, so because if I'll just speak it, you may get lost. So it's there, you can look and see with your own eyes where in the poetry each and every experience in the Kram Prakash, that means the evolution of Radhika's increasing love up to Mahabhav, where it's described in this poem. So first of all, Sringar Karyu Kriti, it is said that the Rati, that is the Staibhav, is like an artist. Why is the Staibhav of Radhika's love considered to be like an artist? Because how does Rati, the Staibhav, turn into Rasa? By mixing together the Rasa Samagri, the ingredients of Rasa. Vibhav, Anubhav, Sattvika Bhav, the Vyabhachari Bhav. By mixing together these other four ingredients, then the Staibhav turns into Rasa. And this is why Brinda Devi is saying, oh, the Rati of Radha and Krishna is like an artist. Because now Rasa is manifesting. Just as an artist, when he wants to create a beautiful painting, he takes his palettes. And on the palette he has so many colors. They're the ingredients. And with his brush, he takes some of this color, and he mixes it together and makes the exact color that he wants. So in the same way, this Staibhavs of Radha and Krishna is like, compared here to an artist, taking the various rasa samagri, the ingredients of rasa, mixing them together and making a delicious flavor of love. So here Sringarakaru Kriti. Sringarakaru Kriti means the artist of Rati. Rati is like an artist mixing together the ingredients to make a rasa. So that indicates Rati. Then after Rati comes praying. What is the symptom of praying? Sarvata dvamsa rahitam satyapi dvamsa karane tad bhava bandhanam, you know, sa prema parikirtita. Praying is that love when there are many causes for the love, the relationship to be destroyed. Many obstacles. But that love is not destroyed, it continues to grow, as we discussed before, that the obstacles actually nourish the brain. So, there are many...
Is this the verse that you wanted, Gertie?
Look, Sringarakari Kiti, the last three words, I've already explained that. Now, that's Rati. Then, so love is that which in obstacles are there, but it's never destroyed. So here it says, Radhaya Bhavetas Cha. It means, Brinda Devi saying, you and Radhika, the love of you and Radhika. So because Brinda Devi is describing the meeting of Radha and Krishna, it indicates praying. Because Radha and Krishna should not meet. Absolutely not. She's the daughter of Rishabhani Maharaj. She was married to the Abhimanyu, Ayan Goshin Javat. And Jojila and Kotila and all, they strictly forbid any association with that notorious boy, the son of Nanda Maharaj. Actually, they also love Krishna, but They have to play their role as guardians to make sure that their wards are always on the straight and narrow path. But they also love Krishna, even those who seem to be against him in the Leela. Because, in Ayurveda it said, if a young boy becomes the active in a romance when he's too young, he will not develop his strength and intelligence properly. So Krishna is quite young, so they're always very careful that he will not meet closely with any gopis because they care about him. So here we're discussing that there are many obstacles, Jatila, Kutila, what to speak. All the Gurujan, all the seniors, the Vedas and all society, they're against Radha Krishna's meeting. So this love has obstacles, the love should be destroyed. But still they're meeting together. So Radhaya Bhavatascha. So Krishna, you and Radhika, you are meeting. This indicates Prem. So Rati, Prem, then Sneha, affection. What is the symptom of affection? When the chitta becomes so completely liquefied that the slightest contact with the object of love causes the tears to flow from the eyes. The heart is so completely melting. So Radha Krishna, Radhaya Bhavatascha Chitta Jatuni. Chitta means the chitta of Radha and Krishna is like a jatuni. That is like the lac which is being melted by the artist. So Chitta Jatani Sweda Vilapya Kramat. Here Vilapya means melting. So here the word melting indicates the stage of Sneha. When in the stage of Prem the heart is melted, but in Sneha it becomes more liquefied. The Chitta is even more liquefied. So Vilapya, the melting of the heart, indicates the stage of Sneha. Vilapya Kramat. Kramat means it's melting slowly. Now, usually when Sneha comes, if Radhika will see Krishna or even hear something about Krishna, heart will just melt with Sneha straight away. So if her heart is melting slowly, just like lac is melted slowly by the flame of an artist, what does that indicate? That she's upset with Krishna. Because whatever, Krishna has done some naughty activities. So because she's in man, she's in a contrary mood. So though she's with him, but the heart is not melting at once. It's Vilapya Kramat, slowly melting. Because all the contrariness that she had before is slowly going away. So her heart is slowly melting. So the word Kramat in this poetry used by Brother Devi is the dhwani of that, is the presence of man. Vilapya Kramat. Yunjanatri Kunja Kunjarapate. Then Pranay. Pranay means when the lover and beloved, they become so in harmony with each other that they can't even conceive of themselves as being two separate persons. My body, your body is one. My mind and your mind is one. My heart and your heart is one. So here Yunjan means union. Their hearts are melted and they become mixed together. They become mixed together to such an extent. Niduta Veda Brahman. Brahman means a mistake. What kind of mistake? Bhed. Bhed means difference. So Brinda Devi is saying that Radha and Krishna, before they met there, or when they met, or when she was in Man, then Krishna thought, I am Krishna, Radhika thought, I am Radhika. But now their hearts have melted together and they've come in the state of Pranay. Niduta Veda Brahman. Niduta means washed away. Their mistake of thinking that they're two persons has been washed away. And they completely identify with each other as one heart. So that indicates Pranay. So, what did we discuss? Rati, Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranay, Rag. So here, Yunjan Atrini Kunja Kunjarapate. Oh Krishna, you are like a Kunjarapati. That means the king of elephants. This poetic metaphor is used often for Krishna and sometimes for Radha Krishna both. And the sense of it is that an elephant does whatever he wants. It's completely swachanda. No one can control. So Krishna is called Kunjara Prate because he does what he wants. He's a Nayaka. Nayaka means hero, but literally it comes from Nayati. Nayati means he leads. So when Radha and Krishna meet together, then Krishna, he is leading the play. So he's Nayak, and Radhika is Nayika. She's led by Krishna. So Krishna is Swachand, as he likes, he does. But when they do Tabeta Brahman, when they forget everything and they become like one, then Radhika becomes Swachand as well. And then Radhika, she does whatever she wants. Not led by Krishna. She can lead Krishna even. And this is why Rupa Goswami said, Vrindavane viharatu hiya keli kunjin mathadvi papavarakautuka vibramena. Oh, Radha and Krishna, you two of you, you're both like elephants, right?
Right.
So here is only Krishna. But there, you're both. There's so many dhwanis in this beautiful poetry. So Yunja Nadri Nikunja. But this elephant, Brinda Devi said, you're meeting where? Adri Nikunja. In the Nikunjas, the very solitary groves. In the Adri, in mountain, Giraj Govardhan. So the implication here is that Govardhan is quite far away from the village. It's a long way to go. And then with soft, bare lotus feet, you have to climb over so many rocks to come to a secret, inaccessible kunj to meet. But happily, Radhika and happily Krishna, they undergo all this difficulty, so it indicates rag. Because what does rag mean? Dukkha apyadikam chitte sukena tvaiva rajate. That stage of love when those things which would ordinarily be a cause of pain to the heart, actually the heart becomes completely dyed through with the feeling of joy. The misery is turned into joy. If it affords a chance to, please once beloved. So here, Adri Nikunja Kunjarapate indicates the difficulties that Radha Krishna go through to meet joyfully because their prem has come in the stage of Raga. So, Rati, Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranaya, Rag. Now, Anurag. Here it says, in the last line, Duyo bin avarag ingal barai. The artist melted the two hearts together and then added the vermilion. So that is to make the red fresh, very bright and fresh. So Anurag is the stage of love where the object of love is experienced nava nava, newer and newer every moment, and the love itself is experienced nava nava, newer and newer every moment. So because the artist is making the red color of the lac, which is naturally red, very bright and fresh, it indicates Anurag. So then Anurag, all these are the stages of love leading up to Mahabhav. They've all been described how they're present here. Then, now from Anurag will turn into Mahabhav. So Mahabhav has three symptoms. So now some of the same words in the verse are also expressing the three special characteristics of Mahabhav. So the first one, Anuraga Swasambedya Dasham. That means when Radha Krishna's praying, they go to the next level, Ruddha, in Swasambedya Dasha. So then they don't identify with themselves anymore. I am Radhika, Naso Ramana Nahama Ramani Duman Manubhav Preshla Jani. Radhika said, I am not his lover and he is not my beloved. Cupid has melted our hearts and made us one. So now they don't experience being separate from each other. That is the symptom of not only in one sense pranay in the stage before Mahabhav, but now in a more intense stage in Ruddha Mahabhav, where no other object, no other experience can enter into their consciousness except for each other, but they don't even identify with themselves. but it's as if they are seeing themselves. So here, Nidu Tabeda Brahman, here, now this phrase, that the mistake of the duality between them has been washed away, here now it indicates the Sosamveja Dasha. Now Prakashita. Prakashita, this is very interesting. In this verse, defining Mahabhav, there is one word Rupa Goswami said, chet. Chet. It means if. If there's Swasamveja Dasha, and if there's Prakashita, the illumination of the Sattvic bhavs, and if there's Yagadashvai Vritti, only then it's Mahabhav. All three have to be there. So, what is the connection between these three? When the brain goes, it becomes Ruddha, goes to the next level. Then the Vritti, all of your thoughts and feelings are Chitta Vrittis. And you have so many of them going on. Your memory, your imagination, your perception, your recognition. There are so many Vrittis going on in the mind all the time. What to speak of the ones in the subconscious mind, in the form of many impressions, samskars. So when the emotions are moving in the mind, they occupy some part of the mind. But when Ruddha Bhav comes, now this Bhav occupies all of the Chitta Vrittis completely. In other words, the entire Chitta, all the movements of the Chitta become completely one with the nature of Mahabhav. So Rupa Goswami says, Varamrita Surupasi Sri Swaswarupam Mano Nayat. The meaning is that, because the spiritual body is made of Sandhini, right? Spiritual body is made of Sandhini. And the Bhav, the love which is moving in the prans, is Samvita Nadini. Now this Bhav which is moving in the Chitta Vrittis has taken over all of the Chitta Vrittis completely, and the mind, Mano Nayat, Swaswarupam Mano Nayat. The entire, if you like, subtle body. Because there's no difference between Krishna's body and all of these things, but these are analogous. The material words are the analogies of the spiritual nature. So the entire mind becomes completely one with the nature of Mahabhav. Everything. There's nothing left. Just that Mahabhav is occupying every single Chitta Vritti. This does not happen in other devotees. Rukmini, Satyabhama, any queens of Dwarka, they never experience this state where the entirety of the heart, the Chitta Vritti or the Mano Vritti, becomes completely one with the nature of Prem. Because they don't have Mahabhav. So let's say Rukmini, she's in the state of Prem. Her Chitta does not come completely one with the state of Prem, or the state of Sneha, or the state of Rag. They can go up to Anurag, but not further than that. So the queens of Dwarka, their Chitta does not become one even with the state of Prem. What to speak of the Chitta becoming completely one with the state of Ruddha Bhav. Understand? This is a vast superiority. Don't think like that the queens of Dwarka have so much love up to here and the gopis like a little bit. It's not like that. Gopis love is a bit more than those queens. The queens have Anuraga, gopis have Bhav. It's just like the next. No. The gopis are very far, far beyond any love of any devotee in Mathura, Dwarka, or even any other Brijvasi. Understand this fact. This is called Gaudiya Gaurav. The dignity of the Gaudiyas. That the Gaudiyas, they don't speak very lightly at all about Radhika and Krishna. Vande Nanda Braje Strinam Paravenu Vishna Sahayasam Harikatur Gitam Punati Bhuvanatura. I bow down from very far away in the direction of 1 foot dust of the gopis of Vrindavan. This is the dignity of the subject matter. How great it is. How high it is. Really, we're not qualified to even think of these things. But when greed is there, sometimes you do things that you should not do. But still, the Gaurav, the dignity, the greatness of this Prem, unless one hears the glories of Gopi's love, then you cannot imagine how really glorious they are. So in the state of Ruddha Bhav, then the Swaswarupa Manonayat, the entire consciousness becomes bhavita, completely immersed, completely one with the state of Samvita Nadini in that stage of Mahabhav. And the result is that because the entire mind of Braj Gopis is bursting with the Vritti of Mahabhav in their pran, it overflows. And so then it overflows and goes throughout their entire bodies, because your pran goes throughout your whole body. And the result of that is that not only does the mind become one with the Vritti of Mahabhav, but their entire bodies become one with the Vritti of Mahabhav. This is why Radhika is called Mahabhav Swarup. Mahabhav Swarupa Sri Radha Thakurani. This is why Krishna wants to embrace Radhika. Krishna is not kami, is not lusty. Krishna is premi, he only wants love. But the thing is, the entire body of Radhika is made of love, due to the appearance of Mahabhav. So Mahabhav Swarupa Sri Radha Thakurani. But it does not end there. When that Mahabhav now through the prans has manifested and the entire body has become one with the nature of Mahabhav, then that is indicated, that is revealed in the form of the Udipta Sattvic Bhavs. Therefore, the second special characteristic of Mahabhav is Prakashita. That 5, 6, 7 or even 8 of the Sattvic Bhavs, becoming stunned, trembling, hair standing on end, perspiration, fading of the color, choking of the voice, they're coming all at the same time in a highly inflamed condition. You see, you can say, Jai Jai Radha Krishna, Yugamala and Radha Krishna together. But the Rasik Vaishnavas, when they hear Radha and Krishna, the sound is Radha and Krishna. Yugamala, they experience them coming in together and they experience the Prakashita. Not only Radhika is Prakashita, Krishna, Yayatama Prapadyante, can fully display it to a degree. Krishna becomes Prakashita as well. His body becomes influenced by the Radhika's presence, and Krishna has the Sattvic Bhavs also. So Prakashita. So where in this verse is the second, we're discussing now the 3 special characteristics by looking at the verse again in terms of the 3 characteristics. Prakashita. So here it's indicated by Swedaya. Sweda means by perspiration. That the artist of Sringa Rasa is melting their hearts using the flame, the heat of Radha Krishna's own perspiration. So that indicates the second special characteristics of Mahabhav, Sweda, that is Prakashita. Prakashita is indicated by the word Sweda, means by the heat of Radha Krishna's perspiration, their hearts are slowly melting. Then, Yavadashra Vritti. Yavadashra Vritti means it doesn't stop there. Not only does the mind become completely one, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavi. Bhavita means completely infused with Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. In the Brahma Samhita, this is the meaning of that verse of Brahma Samhita. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavi. In Ayurveda, there's one technique to make medicine very strong. If you have the amalaki, you know, it's very tart. Yeah, very tart. It's strong in vitamin C. So you can make powdered amalaki. But you can make this powdered amalaki even stronger by taking amalaki juice and then soaking the amalaki powder in the juice and leaving it to soak up all the juice. So that's called bhavana. So you do that, then it becomes stronger. But then when it dries, you get some more juice and put the powder in the juice again. So that is called Bahu Swabhavana. Swabhavana means you soak it in its own essence. Swabhavana. And when you do it many times, it's called Bahu Swabhavana. And when you've done that many times, that the potency of this Ayurvedic medicine now is now maximum potency. Now it's called Bhavita. Bhavita. So in Brahma Samhita, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavi. that Radha and Krishna, Prati means to each other, Radha and Krishna are mutually infusing each other with Ananda Chinmaya Rasa to the maximum strength. Maximum strength. Radhika said, oh, where is my Krishna? Who is the Aushadhi, the medicine to save my life? So Radha and Krishna become the maximum strength of Bhav, Prem. Completely immersed in that. So then what will happen? It's not only does that happen to the mind, not only does that happen to the pran, not only does that happen to the body, but from there it spreads out also. And therefore the third symptom comes, Yavadashray Vritti. You see the connection now? Mahabharata has 3 symptoms. It's not like a shopping list of unconnected, random, arbitrary ideas created by a poet. There's actually profound meaning behind every single word that Rupa Goswami has written by the inspiration, the prerana of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. So then the waves of love emanate out, and unless and until the mind becomes one with Mahabhav, unless and until it spreads and the whole body becomes Mahabhav Swarup, then this Yavad Ashray Vritti will not take place. And therefore Yavad Ashray Vritti, the spreading effect of the waves of Bhav doesn't take place in any other devotees. Not in Dasiras, Sakiras, Vatsalyaras, not in the Queens of Dwarka or anyone. This is something, these are the Vaishishtyas, the specialities of Madhurasa. These are just a few of the specialities. There are so many. So many. So here, that has been indicated in the poetry that the artist has decorated the palace of the universe with the fresh anurag of Radha and Krishna, causing everyone to wonder. That means when Radha and Krishna meet, then the Sakhis are there. They see this, and they're very affected by it. They are struck with wonder. But not only that, Brahmanda Hamyodari. Brahmanda means the universe. Hamya means a palace. And the Odare means inside. The inner palace of the entire universe becomes beautiful, and everyone in the universe is struck with wonder. Because that's one of the aspects of Yavadashray Vritti. Brahmanda Shobha Karita, it disturbs the entire universe. But it especially disturbs the Sakhis who are very close to Radha and Krishna, because they become permeated by their love and they taste something of that. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Bhakti Vinoda Sakhi Parisukha Vashi, in this meeting of Radha and Krishna, I am floating in the waves of joy. Radha Krishna's joy is emanating from them, Yavadashray Vritti, and the Sakhis are floating in those waves of joy. So, Rupa Goswami has written a very beautiful verse describing the effect of this Yavadashray Vritti. He said, when Radha and Krishna sat together, Radhika's, this is so incredibly relishable, because it is the nature of praying that lover and beloved, they hide their feelings and speak something different. They tease each other and they compete with each other. But when this pranay and this mahabhav comes and they feel oneness with each other, then all of that resistance, all of those contradictions, all of the competing and everything just melts away. And now they collaborate with each other. This is called Paraspara Vasibhava Atishai. It means that Radha and Krishna, Radhika is not under Krishna's controls, but because she's so contrary. But when this bhav comes, and from Anurag onwards, then Radhika becomes under the control of Krishna, and Krishna becomes under the control of Radhika. Now for the first time they're under the control of each other, and it causes something called Paraspara Vasibhava Atishai. A vast increase in the rasa due to the realization, oh, I'm under your control, you're under my control. So that transformation is something astonishing for the Sakhis to see. So Rupa Goswami Pad said, when Vishakha Sakhi, she saw Radha Krishna's Prem coming into this stage, how the contrariness had melted away, and now they're collaborating with each other. Then Vishakha Sakhi said, Shashi Vyomut Sangam Sashinam Abhita Kanti Lahari Puro Brindaranyam Sumukhi Sahasa Kanti Laharim Harir Brindaranyam Harim Apikileyam Tavasaki Sakim Premna Puro Nijasu Shumaya Mandaya Dayam. Vishakha Sakhi is singing this in joy, seeing that very harmonious. Now Radha Krishna become harmonious with each other. She said, the moon is so beautiful. One of the udipanas of the Madhurya Rasa is the moon. Sarashankasha Vasanta Shankar Shankar Karta. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings about all the udipanas. And one is the moon, the shining of the moon. So now, the revelation, why is the moon such udipana of the meeting of Radha and Krishna? Because when Vishakha looked in the Kunja and saw Radha and Krishna together, then she saw, the moon is so beautiful, it is decorating the sky. Shashi Vyomut Sangam, and making the sky more beautiful. Shashinam Kantila Harim. But that moon is made more beautiful by its chandrikas. There's a glow emanating, waving from the moon, making the moon look more beautiful. And those waves of the luster emanating from the moon are shining onto the forest of Vrindavan. Puro Vrindaranyam Sahasa Sumati Kantila Harim. And the forest of Vrindavan is beautified by the waves of luster coming from the moon. Hari Vrindaranyam Harim. And Hari, see, Krishna is here. And see, Krishna is glowing. Why? Because he's having the experience. The Prakashita, his sattvic bhavs are coming. And Yavadashvayvriti, his bhav is also spreading. So Sri Krishna, the waves of beauty are coming from Sri Krishna and making the waves of luster coming from the moon more beautiful. And also illuminating the forest of Vrindavan and making the forest of Vrindavan more beautiful. And then Sri Krishna, Sakim Prema Puro Nijasu Sumaya Mandayadam. But Krishna himself, who is beautifying the forest, beautifying the luster of the moon, which itself is beautifying the moon, which itself is beautifying the sky, that Krishna, he's being beautified by the Pura, the overflowing of the Prem of Radhika. And Radhika herself is being beautified by her Prem. And the cause of the beauty of Prem is nothing. It ends there. Because Prem is supreme. This is the teaching of Mahaprabhu. Krishna Sambandha. Our relation is as we are Krishna Das. The process is Bhakti Abhideya, but the Prayojan is forgotten.
Prem!
The approach is Prem. Krishna is not the goal of our life. Radhika is not the goal of our life. Radha and Krishna is not the goal. The goal is Prem. Prem is the Prayojan. That is the highest. So here, Rupa Goswami is using this word again and again. Pura. Pura means overflowing. Because the nature of Mahabhav is it's manifesting in the mind, overflowing to the pran, overflowing to the body, overflowing from the body in the form of Yavadashvaya Vritti, overflowing into one's beloved and overflowing into the forest, into the everywhere. So this is the meaning of this verse, that, oh Krishna, when you and Radhika meet, your love is like an artist decorating the entire universe, causing everyone to wonder. Perhaps you've been in the garden. Have you been to the GVO in Miami? They have a very beautiful fountain in the garden. You may have seen those fountains where the water sprays up like that and it's caught in like a little pond, and then that overflows and there's another tier with another pond beneath it, and then that fills up with water, and then that overflows and it's caught in the next one. So it's a multi-layered fountain where each one is overflowing into the next one. So this is the situation. When Radha and Krishna meet, then the Prem is manifesting. It's overflowing from Radhika and beautifying Krishna. It's overflowing from Krishna and beautifying the forest of Vrindavan, even beautifying the waves of luster of the moon, which is beautifying the moon, like this. So what is not mentioned in this verse is, well, what is happening to the Sakhis? Why? Because Vishaka Sakhi, Vishakari Sakhi Gana Rage Gai, Vishaka Sakhi herself is singing, so she's describing what she's seeing. So it may be that anyone else somewhere in the universe is not seeing the beauty of the universe, but Vishaka is seeing everything, the entire forest, the entire sky, the entire universe and the moon. Everything is beautiful. Why? Because she herself is being, that is the Dwani, it's not there directly in the words. She herself is floating in that Prem due to Yamadashra Vriti. The transference of Radhika's love is coming to her. And it's making her see, everything is wonderful, everything is beautiful. So he said, Rasai Saras Chamatkaro Yambi na Raso Rasaha in Alanka Kostuba. It is said, the essence of rasa is what? Chamatkar. Astonishment. Yambi na Raso Rasa. If something doesn't, if it's not causing a continuous astonishment, if you hear this katha again and again, you'll be more astonished every time. If it's not causing astonishment in everyone, it's not rasa. Because material things, you can develop a resistance, you can develop a tolerance to them. If someone is taking some medicine, then after time it doesn't work, they have to take more because the body becomes tolerant to it. But rasa is such a thing that rasai saras chamatkaro yambina na raso rasa. Rasa is, the essence is chamakar, astonishment. And without that, then there's no rasa. So here the word chitraya in the third line, chitraya, means for the sake of causing everyone in the universe to be filled with chitra, wonderment. Due to this effect of the Mahabhav when Radha and Krishna meet in a beautiful Kunja Giraj Govardhan. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Bhakti Vinod Sakhi Padi Sukhavase, or in the form of Kamala Manjari, at the lotus feet of the Sakhis was serving Radha and Krishna. I am floating in those waves of Prem. God Premanande Hari Vrindavan Lal Ki